This video will be going over a past paper problem for paper 1 for IB Chemistry SL, and this past paper was taken from the May 19 session, time zone 1. And so the problem asks us to name this molecule given according to the IUPAC rules. And just a quick recap, if you guys want to read this is the rules for naming an alkane, and it's just right. We just determine the longest and continuous carbon chain, identify and name the groups attached, and then number the chain consecutively starting at the end nearest the substituent group, add prefixes, locations, and so on. But anyhow, I'll be covering this in the video. So number one, what we want to do is we always want to extend the molecule. And what I mean is, this is just a bit hard to look at, right? And if we just make it like this, we separate like CH3, CH, CH, CH3 with dashes, it just makes the molecule so much more easier to look at. And let's say here the ethyl group, we separate it to CH2, CH3. And by doing this, it will make it so much easier for you to determine the longest carbon chain. So I always recommend that. And now we want to determine the longest carbon chain, and that's what you always want to do next, because if you look at the solutions here, we have two groups basically. We have solutions with butane and we have solutions with pentane. So if we can determine the longest carbon chain, then yeah, we can knock out two answers right away. So there's several ways you can do this, right? So we can draw it like this as our first carbon chain, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes a butane. And you can also do it like this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's also a butane. Or you can do it like this. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's obviously longer than 4, so 5, that's a pentane. And we can just, with this, we can just cancel out any answer that has butane, because, well, it's not the longest carbon chain. So we can just cancel out here because that's butane, and we can cancel this out as well because it has a butane. So moving on, this is our carbon chain. Okay, so moving on, we want to determine the groups attached to the chain, and we have Br here, which is our halogen, and we have CH3. Now, from now, what can we do, right? So we want to determine, is this the answer or is this the answer? Because they're both pentane. And these answers just differ based on where you locate your first carbon, and I'll show you what this means, right? So here, if we number this as carbon 1, right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then Br will be at C2, and methyl CH3 will be at C3. So what answer is that? That's this answer, right? The bottom answer, because we have 2 bromo, which just means it's at C2, and 3 methylpentane. But if we number the carbon chain from here, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then CH3 methyl is attached to carbon 3, and Br is attached to carbon 4. So it's this answer now, because we have methyl at 3, carbon 3, and bromo or Br at carbon 4. Now, which one is correct, right? Because these are both appropriate, right? But which is the most correct based off the IUPAC rules? Now, a rule of thumb you should always remember is that we want to name a molecule with the lowest sum possible, the lowest sum of numbers possible. So here we have 3 methyl and 4, right? So the sum of the positions is 7. And here we have 2 and we have 3. So the sum of the position is 5. Now, from here, this lowest sum is obviously 2 bromo, 3 methylpentane. And that is the answer for this problem. So this is the problem, this is the answer to our problem. And yep, and that's it. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me in the comment section below. Thank you.